صباح الخير. السيد الأستاذ الدكتور مصطفى الفقي مدير مكتبة الإسكندرية، السيد الدكتور هوسيه بورجينو الأمين العام لاتحاد الناشرين الدوليين، السيد الدكتور ستيفن فايبر مدير عام السياسات وبرامج المناصرة بالاتحاد الدولي لمؤسسات المكتبات، السيد الدكتور خالد الحلبي رئيس الاتحاد العربي للمكتبات والمعلومات. الحضور الكريم، أرحب بكم جميعاً في رحاب مكتبة الإسكندرية في المؤتمر السنوي الأول الذي يقام بالتعاون بين مكتبة الإسكندرية والإفلا، ويتناول هذا العام موضوع اقتصاديات النشر في العالم العربي. قبل أن أتطرق إلى موضوع المؤتمر، أود في البداية أن أشير إلى أن الشراكة والتعاون بين مكتبة الإسكندرية والإفلا بدأت منذ عام 2007 مع إنشاء مكتب الإفلا للمكتبات العربية تحت رئاسة قطاع المكتبات مكتبة الإسكندرية، والذي عمل منذ ذلك الحين على الربط بين ما تقوم به الإفلا من أنشطة ومبادرات على الساحة الدولية ومجتمع المكتبات والمعلومات في العالم العربي. وهذا المؤتمر هو أحدث ثمرة من ثمار هذا التعاون، ويعد فرصة للمتخصصين في مجال المكتبات والمعلومات حول العالم لمشاركة خبراتهم والتعرف على أحدث التقنيات وأثر التكنولوجيا على سوق المعلومات والتحديات التي تواجهه. يجمع المؤتمر نخبة من المتحدثين الدوليين والعرب لطرح العديد من خبرات التجارب الناجحة في مجال صناعة النشر في العالم العربي، ومناقشة القضايا المختلفة المتعلقة باقتصاديات النشر وأثره على اقتصاد الدول. وفي ذلك السياق يعرض المؤتمر على سبيل المثال لا الحصر القضايا الخاصة بالنشر العلمي والأكاديمي في ظل البيئة الرقمية وهيمنة النشر الإلكتروني على سوق النشر، حتى أصبح حجم هذه الصناعة يتخطى مليارات الدولارات سنوياً، وأصبح للنشر الأكاديمي جمعيات واتحادات خاصة على مستوى العالم. ومن التحديات التي تواجه النشر بشكل عام في الوطن العربي عدم وجود قاعدة بيانات واضحة وشاملة عن الناشرين وقطاع النشر، عدم وجود هيئات أو مؤسسات أو مراكز تقدم المؤلفين الجدد للناشرين بعد تحكيم إنتاجهم حتى يضمن الناشر الحصول على أصول صالحة للنشر، كما أنه لا توجد موازنات مخصصة في جهات أو مؤسسات أو وزارات لتشجيع ودعم الناشرين على نشر أعمال المؤلفين الجدد، وأيضاً غياب وظيفة الوكيل الأدبي في العالم العربي بينما هي وظيفة أساسية في الدول المتقدمة في صناعة النشر. كما أن ارتفاع سعر الكتب المطبوعة الكتاب المطبوع له تأثير على وهو ناتج عن تأثير ارتفاع أسعار خامات الورق والطباعة، مع كثرة حدوث الانتهاكات لحقوق الملكية الفكرية بنسخ الكتب أو تصويرها أو مسحها ضوئياً وإتاحتها على الإنترنت بطريقة غير مشروعة. عوامل كثيرة سيحدثنا عنها ضيوفنا الكرام تؤثر على صناعة من أهم الركائز الاقتصادية للعديد من الدول العالم. لن أطيل عليكم بالحديث، ولكني سأتابع معكم جلسات وفعاليات المؤتمر. والآن أترك الكلمة للأستاذ الدكتور أمجد الجوهري رئيس قطاع المكتبات مكتبة الإسكندرية لتقديم المتحدثين بالجلسة الافتتاحية، وأتمنى لكم الاستفادة القصوى ببرنامج وجلسات هذا المؤتمر العلمي والثقافي الثري، كما أدعوكم للاستمتاع بالطقس الجيد في هذه الأيام بالإسكندرية من خلال جولات وتسوق. وشكرا. دكتور أمجد.
أسعد الله صباحكم بكل الخير، وشكرا جزيلا على السادة الحضور لتواجدهم معنا في هذا اليوم في رحاب مكتبة الإسكندرية العريقة. يسعدني ويشرفني أني انضممت منذ فترة قليلة لفريق العمل بمكتبة الإسكندرية تحت قيادة السيد الأستاذ الدكتور مصطفى الفقي مدير المكتبة. وفي الغالب تتعامل مع سياسي أو تتعامل مع مثقف، ولكن حينما يتواجد السياسي والمثقف في آن واحد فهذا نادر في هذا الزمن. وفي الحقيقة معالي الأستاذ الدكتور مصطفى الفقي هو كان الأساس في طرح فكرة هذا المؤتمر منذ عامين في مؤتمر الإفلا، وبالتالي كان له بعد كبير خاص بأهمية التحدث عن قضايا النشر في مصر وفي الوطن العربي. أشكركم مرة أخرى للتواجد، ويسعدني ويشرفني أن أقدم مع الأستاذ الدكتور مصطفى الفقي في كلمة لسيادته، فليتفضل.
شكرا يا دكتور أمجد. صباح الخير. أنا أرحب بضيوفنا الأعزاء. all the guests here today. We are so proud to have them with us. إنما أنا النهاردة يعني عايز أعبر عن فكرة معينة بتلح عليا في ذهني، إن إحنا في فترة محورية في قضايا النشر. لأنه زي ما قالت دينا، إحنا في turning point ما بين النشر الورقي والنشر الإلكتروني، وهناك دواعي شديدة للقلق لأجيال أنا أنتمي إليها، بأنه قد يتوارى الكتاب وتختفي الصحيفة ولا يبقى لدينا إلا الكلمة المكتوبة إلكترونيا. طبعا هذا أقرب إلى الأجيال الجديدة وأحب، ولكنه في نفس الوقت يعني تحول شامل وجذري في العلاقات الإنسانية والاجتماعية والأوضاع الاقتصادية وربما الظروف السياسية أيضا. فأنا أعتبر أن هذه هي القضية الحاكمة التي يناقشها مؤتمركم هذا. أين نحن في مفترق الطرق. هل يمكن أن يمضي معا بطريق متوازي؟ يظل النشر الورقي مستمرا وفي نفس الوقت تتقدم وسائل النشر الإلكتروني، أم أنه لابد أن يحل النشر الإلكتروني محل النشر الورقي؟ أنا كنت أكتب مقالا في الأسبوع الماضي بعنوان أحلام وأوهام أتصور فيها مصر عام 2050، وقلت فيها أن النشر أصبح إلكترونيا باستثناء صحيفة واحدة. يعني ده واحد بيعملها كده نوع من غسل الأيدي، إبراء الذمة. صحيفة واحدة تكتب ورقيا على سبيل التذكار. الأمور بتتغير بشكل سريع جدا، ونحن في عالم لا نكاد نطبق فيه بعض الاكتشافات والاختراعات. على ما تيجي تطبقها يكون ظهر اختراع أو اكتشاف جديد يصرف نظرك عن ذلك الذي تحمست له بالأمس. هذه السرعة بتدعو قطاع النشر في العالم كله إلى ضرورة مراجعة هذه القضية والاهتمام بها. هو ده الكور بتاع اللقاء بتاع مؤتمركم النهاردة، واللي أنا كنت متحمس له منذ عدة سنوات. يعني دي فكرة بتلح علي حتى قبل أن آتي إلى المكتبة. ما هو دور المؤسسات الثقافية الكبيرة بحجم مكتبة الإسكندرية في هذه القضية؟ ما هو دور الاتحاد العربي للإفلا والأخ الدكتور خالد والمجموعة الموجودة؟ ماذا نفعل؟ هل سوف نظل نتقدم هكذا مع تيار التكنولوجيا التي تتغير يوما بعد يوم، أم أن هناك محاولات لإحداث توازن بين ما يمكن أن يحدث وما يجب أن يحدث؟ هي دي الفكرة الرئيسية اللي بتلح عليا في ذهني، وأنا متأكد أن ضيوفنا الكبار من مستويات رفيعة وعالية سوف يكونون قادرين على تناولها مع حضراتكم. وأنا شايف الناس كلها موجودة، يعني الحقيقة كل الأصدقاء موجودين. مكتبة مصر العامة موجودة، السفير الطائفي، ومكتبة جامعة بريطانية، بس أنا مؤسسها دي ما تنساش. وأنت كنت ماشي زمان وأنا اللي قلت لك لا مش هتمشي. والكوكبة من اتحاد الناشرين، والأساتذة الدكتور شاهين، والأساتذة الدكتور سعيد عبده، الإخوة الأعزاء جميعا. مش عايز I don't like to name them عشان ما انساش، إنما كل ضيوفنا محل الترحيب، خصوصا أمين عام اتحاد الناشرين الدولي، والأخ العزيز أيضا من مؤسسات المتصلة بهذا النوع من التفكير والعمل. أنا بحييكم جميعا، وبأعلن لكم إن دور مكتبة الإسكندرية هي أن تفكر في الزوايا المحورية للانتقال من مرحلة إلى مرحلة، ونحن في مرحلة فاصلة. من هنا تبدو أهمية هذا المؤتمر الذي أتمنى له التوفيق. شكرا لكم جميعا.
تقوم الاتحادات المهنية بدور كبير في التقريب ما بين وجهات النظر للعاملين في المجال، ويلعب الاتحاد العربي للمكتبات والمعلومات دورا هاما في هذا السياق. يسعدنا ويشرفنا أن يتواجد معنا اليوم السيد الأستاذ الدكتور خالد الحلبي، رئيس الاتحاد العربي للمكتبات والمعلومات، فليتفضل سيادة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سعادة الأستاذ الدكتور مصطفى الفقي مدير مكتبة الإسكندرية، السيد الدكتور ستيفن فايبر مدير السياسات وبرامج المناصرة في الإفلا، الدكتور هوسيه بورجينو الأمين العام لاتحاد الناشرين الدولي، الحضور الكريم، أحييكم جميعا بتحية طيبة مباركة من عند الله، فالسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، وأسعد الله صباحكم بكل الخير. في البداية أود أن أهنئ مكتبة الإسكندرية من خلال قطاع المكتبات وبمبادرة من إدارة مؤسسات المعلومات في القطاع على إقامة هذا المؤتمر المتخصص في النشر بالتعاون مع الاتحاد الدولي لجمعيات المكتبات ومؤسساتها إفلا. ذلك المؤتمر الذي يتخذ من النشر وقضاياه صبغة عامة لكل ما يدور فيه. يجتمع في هذا المؤتمر أطراف عدة لهم علاقة بصناعة النشر، مؤلفين، باحثين، وناشرين، ومكتبيين، وهذا المثلث هو الذي تدور في زواياه أغلب قضايا صناعة النشر وتحدياتها. تلك الصناعة التي لا تهم فقط هذه الأضلاع الثلاثة، المؤلف والناشر والمكتبة، ولكن صناعة النشر لها أثر كبير في المجتمع ككل. فتلك الصناعة يقع على عاتقها تسجيل حضارة أمة وتشكيل ثقافة شعب. ومن واقع مسؤولية الاتحاد العربي للمكتبات والمعلومات، اتحاد المتخصصين في علوم المكتبات والمعلومات والنشر، ومن واقع ما يقوم به الاتحاد لرفع مستوى ثقافة الشعوب من خلال المكتبات ومراكز المعلومات، ومن واقع المسؤولية المهنية تجاه هذا المثلث الذي ترتكز عليه صناعة النشر، من واقع كل ذلك أقول للمؤلفين أثروا الفكر الإنساني بما تكتبون، كونوا على قدر المسؤولية فيما تنقلون، قدروا العقول وقدروا فكر غيركم وأنتم تبدعون، قدروا الناشرين فهم من ينقلون ما تكتبون إلى المستفيدين. وأقول إلى الناشرين: أبدعوا في إخراج المحتوى حتى لا تخرجوا من منافسة الوسائط الأخرى التي تظهر يوما بعد يوم. كونوا انتقائيين وفرقوا بين الغث والثمين فيما تنشرون، وأوفوا للمؤلفين حقوقهم، فكلاكما عصب صناعة النشر. وأقول للمكتبيين زملائي جميعا: لقد حملتم أمانة تنظيم وحفظ وبث المعلومات، فكونوا على قدر المسؤولية وأدوا الأمانة بحق وصدق. حافظوا على تطبيق حقوق الملكية الفكرية في مكتباتكم، فصناعة النشر تنتهي عندكم كما أنها أيضا تبدأ من عندكم. حافظوا على حق الناشر والمؤلف، فرقوا ما بين الغث والثمين فيما تقتنوه في مكتباتكم. وأقول للمؤلفين والناشرين وللمكتبيين مجتمعين: أنتم أمناء على تكوين حضارة أمة وتشكيل ثقافة شعب. أعانكم الله على حمل هذه الأمانة وتأدية حقها. نعلم جيدا أنها أمانة ثقيلة ومسؤولية كبيرة، ولكن إن خلصت النوايا وتضافرت الجهود سوف تؤدونها حق أدائها، وكان الله في عون العبد ما دام العبد في عون أخيه. شكرا جزيلا لسعادة الأستاذ الدكتور مصطفى الفقي على استضافة هذا المؤتمر في رحاب مكتبة الإسكندرية. شكرا للإفلا على شراكتها لمكتبة الإسكندرية في هذا المؤتمر. شكرا لقطاع المكتبات برئاسة الأستاذ الدكتور أمجد الجوهري، ومكتب الإفلا للمكتبات العربية برئاسة السيدة دينا يوسف على فكرة هذا المؤتمر وتنفيذه. مع جميع العاملين في مكتبة الإسكندرية. أتمنى للحضور الكريم مؤتمرا ناجحا وإقامة طيبة. طبتم وطاب محياكم، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
شكرا جزيلا دكتور خالد. الآن مع دكتور ستيفن رابع اللي هو مدير برامج السياسات في الإفلا، الاتحاد الدولي لمؤسسات المكتبات. تفضل.
Thank you, shukran. So, thank you, shukran, Dr. Al-Faqi, to Dr. Halabi, to Dr. El-Gohari. I am obviously speaking in English, and I will try to speak clearly, but please signal if this is not clear, and I'm sure the interpreters will do the same. So, I wanted first to pass on the greetings of Gloria Perez-Salmeron, President of the International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions, and of Gerald Leitner, its Secretary General, and of course my boss. They are quite literally right now on the other side of the world, but I'm sure that were they here, they would be very happy to see so many faces and so much interest in this event. I also wanted to congratulate the Library of Alexandria for holding this event, bringing publishers and other publishing experts together with libraries to talk, to listen, and to learn. These sorts of opportunities are important and all too rare. We need to talk, to hear each other. Indeed, only last week we had a great meeting at IFLA headquarters with the International Publishers Association, as well as with representatives of rights holders, authors, archives, and museums. And this conversation is vital because, too often, the relationship between libraries and publishers can seem like a zero-sum game. A pricing decision is good for one, but not for the other. A copyright reform creates winners and losers. This is what the world looks like when you take a short-term perspective. But, in the long run, we are part of the same ecosystem. And as with any ecosystem, the health of everyone depends on the health of each individually. We have an interest, not just in coexisting, but in cooperating. And so too do the societies that we serve. It is not by accident that in those countries which demonstrate the strongest and richest cultures, there are publishers helping new and exciting voices to be heard. Nor is it by accident that in those countries with the highest levels of literacy and love of reading, there are also strong libraries. Of course, publishers work with markets other than libraries, and libraries are not only about books. Nonetheless, it is hard to imagine a library without published books or a publishing sector without libraries. And so, together, libraries and publishers create a bridge between authors and readers who, otherwise, would risk being isolated and unable to connect. And this bridge is essential because the book sector arguably makes a bigger and broader contribution to human development than any other part of the cultural economy. It enables learning and innovation, as well as pleasure. It helps people find their place in the economy, in culture, in society, in civic life. And given this, it's particularly important to ensure that it is equitable, that as we sustain and grow the flow of quality new works, we can find ways of guaranteeing that no one faces impossible barriers to access and, as far as possible, become the writers and researchers of tomorrow. Knowledge should be a tool not for exclusion or stagnation, but for inclusion and for innovation. Our ecosystem of libraries and publishers makes this happen, and this is a unique thing worth protecting. And to do this, we also need to work together. Of course, the first step towards cooperation is mutual understanding. The program organized by the Library of Alexandria here today and tomorrow is a fantastic way of doing this. And sadly, it's not often enough that we have this opportunity to sit down, to listen and learn, especially in a digital age where everything seems to move so quickly, where disruption has, for some at least, become a religion, where the immediate instinctive reaction to the rapid change around us so often is just panic. It's true that digital has brought new challenges. I'm sure that many of the speeches here today and tomorrow will touch on this. It's clear that readers no longer rely on the library reference desk to find out basic facts. I admit that myself, I went to Wikipedia, not the library, to read about Alexandria before coming here today. more and more material is available for all online. And similarly, writers do not have to pass anymore by a conventional publisher in order to reach an audience. Self-publishing, blogging, social media have offered an alternative route. Indeed, it's a climate where anyone who sets themselves up as a gatekeeper risks being bypassed. The threat of disintermediation looms, but it is far from inevitable, and it is certainly not desirable, because the skills, the judgment, the values of libraries and publishers cannot be replaced by an algorithm. Indeed, the obvious problems with over-reliance on algorithms are helping to emphasize the importance of quality information. Key to the uniqueness of the book sector in the past has been the work of publishers and libraries to bring useful, quality information and insights to the fore efficiently and effectively. And as I underlined, this takes skill, investment, organization. Of course, both publishers and libraries need to maintain their standards in order to deliver this. I'm very glad to see the stands outside displaying all of this work. Through the work of organizations like IFLA, like the Arab Federation for Libraries and Information, the International Publishers Association, and of course the Library of Alexandria, as Dr. Al-Faqi set out, there is a continuous effort to provide ever more excellent services. But we also need to ensure that wider society, the society that pays for publishing through buying books, and that pays for libraries through taxation, understands the value we bring. The health of the publishing economy, as well as the health of the library sector, depends on it. Of course, this is easier said than done. We need to be careful about negative arguments. We cannot and should not just dismiss the internet. It has permitted giant strides towards the long-standing library objective of equitable access to information for all. And while clearly what is illegal offline should be illegal online, we should not come up with artificial new constraints. This would be to do a huge disservice to the flourishing of creativity that the internet has permitted, especially among previously marginalized groups, as well as to the 50% of the world still waiting to get online. And of course, simply dismissing the internet and demanding people's respect and trust puts it at risk of looking like we are paternalistic, patronizing, on the wrong side of history. And however right we may be, we will have lost the argument, because when people stop caring about quality, about verifiability, then we are in trouble. We need to build, instead, a positive case, a convincing case. And thanks to initiatives such as this event here today, we are well on the way. We can show that this unique bridge, formed by libraries and publishers together, between creator and reader, is as strong and as vital as ever, as much in a digital world as in a physical one. And as Dr. Al-Faqi has underlined, we can work together to do this. And this is what I'm looking forward to hearing about today and tomorrow, to learning about how publishers across the Arab-speaking region are creating and delivering value. I'm sure that each of the speakers, not least Jose, who will be speaking after me, will have important insights to share about how publishers here and beyond are laying the foundations for the future. And I know, of course, that we could not have a much better place to do this than the Library of Alexandria. Of course, you don't need to be told that Alexandria was the home of the most celebrated library of antiquity, the authoritative collection of ancient texts, the guarantor of the passage of knowledge from mind to mind, from generation to generation. And of course, today's Library of Alexandria continues to provide great examples of the value that a modern library can provide within and beyond its walls, in collecting and promoting heritage, in supporting research, in accelerating the creation of accessible format works so that everyone can benefit from access to information. So, once again, thank you, shukran, Dr. Al-Faqi, and to your team for your invitation, for your work in establishing the program for this event today and tomorrow. I look forward to hearing more. Thank you. Shukran.
ويشرفنا بالحضور مستر خوسيه بورجينو الأمين العام لاتحاد الناشرين الدوليين. Mr. Jose, we are looking forward to hear your speech.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. And I want to thank Dr. Faqi and the Biblioteca Alexandrina for this fabulous invitation to come and speak to you today. It's my first time in Alexandria, and a city with so much history, and I'm very much enjoying myself, so thank you very much. I'd like also to thank Dr. Khaled El-Halabi, President of AFLI, and Dr. Amgad El-Gohari. I want to thank Dina Youssef, especially for her help in getting me here. And I want to thank Stephen Weiber for that fabulous introduction, and IFLA for organising this inaugural conference. I hope it's not the last. So, today I will run through a few things very quickly. I'm hopeful that it will engage you. I'm hopeful that it will make you want to ask more questions, so I'm happy to receive those questions and answer them as well as I can. I apologise firstly for only speaking in English, and I apologise to the interpreters for my Australian accent. I'll try to speak slowly. So today I'll talk to you briefly about what the IPA is, then move on to world publishing, Arab publishing, the future, what it holds, what we think it holds, and a few conclusions. So the IPA is an association of associations. We have 81 members at the moment from 69 countries. You can see the map there. It's not very clear, but basically the blue colours are members of the IPA, full members. The ones in pink are provisional members, which means that they will become full members eventually. Through this structure, we represent thousands of individual publishers from all over the world, and those publishers in themselves in turn service 5.7 billion people. So we represent the majority of publishers around the world. Our president at the moment is Hugo Setzer. He's from Mexico. He started his 2-year term this year. We have an executive committee of 19 members with representatives from all over the world. We have a copyright committee, a freedom to publish committee, a membership committee, a new committee that's just been formed called Inclusive Publishing and Literacy, and an Education Publishers Forum. In the Arab region, our current Vice President, Bahdur Al-Qasimi, is the Vice President of the IPA for 2 years, and she will become the President in 2 years' time. She will be the second woman to be a President of the IPA, and we're very excited to be working with her closely. Rashid is here, so I welcome him, and he will note some of the information that we will be sharing with you comes from his team in the UAE. The Arab Publishers Association is also an associate member of the IPA, along with other similar regional and specialist members like the Federation of European Publishers, STM, HIE from Latin America, and AU Presses. So, again, in the Arab region, we have 10 members that are in the Arab region. They are Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, Mauritania, Morocco, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, Tunisia, and the United Arab Emirates. They are there in red. Somalia is in yellow because it's a provisional member. It joined last year. The others in green are what I like to think of as potential members that will join very, very soon, I hope. What we do. The International Publishers Association promotes the social, cultural, and economic benefits of a publishing industry. Some of what Stephen was talking about before encompasses that. Those countries with strong publishing cultures are also strong financially, socially, and culturally in general. I don't think that that's an accident. And that's what we try to get across to politicians and the media as often as possible. We do that by promoting the interests of publishers around the world, defending copyright, promoting the freedom to publish, promoting literacy, and promoting the value of education publishers. We do that by working with international organisations like the UN. We're now working with IFLA, actually, and a few other stakeholders on a new project called the Sustainable Development Goals Book Club. That's just one example of what we do with the United Nations. UNESCO, we began a project called the World Book Capital Cities. At the moment, Athens is the World Book Capital City. It will hand over to Sharjah on the 23rd of April this year, and next year it will be Kuala Lumpur. That's been going for around 20 to 25 years. And then finally, with WIPO, we've been running, we're part of the board, the founding board of the Accessible Books Consortium and Publishing Industry Statistics, which I'll talk about in a second. So, what we did with WIPO was say, one of the things that the publishing industry around the world needs now is better statistics. We need to know how big the publishing industries in each country is, and we want to know the details of that kind of publishing industry. What sort of books do they publish? How many? What's the size of the market? And to do that properly, we've partnered with WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization, which is also in Geneva, and we released a pilot survey last year where we surveyed 35 countries across trade, education, and STM, which is scientific, technical, and medical publishing, and looks at a number of publications and revenues from sales from those sectors. So what did we find? We found total revenues within that small group of around 41.9 billion, 42 billion US dollars. The greatest number of titles were published in China, and followed by the UK, South Africa, France, Russia, and then Turkey. Print in those markets remains the dominant revenue generator. That doesn't mean that digital is slowing in those markets or is non-existent, but it means that most publishers are still making their money from print. China leads the digital revenues with 28% of its market being taken by digital, and surprisingly, Colombia gets in ahead of the US and Japan. That is only from those 11 countries within our survey. Because when you look at it more broadly, and these are from statistics that we published in our annual report way back in 2013, you'll see that the book publishing industry is bigger than film. It's bigger than newspapers and magazines. It's bigger than video games, and it's bigger than music. Most people don't really understand that. What people get from entertainment media and from the news is stories about large organisations, large platforms, stars, mega stars, and a lot of those are from these other industries. Publishing is unique in that there are big players, but there are a multitude of small, specialised publishers all over the world, and together we make up the biggest cultural industry. Some of the other statistics, and I'm happy to talk in more detail about these later if you want. You'll see the distribution of revenue from sales and licensing for the retail sector in 2016. China, as I said before, had 28% of its market in digital. There are other formats, which is usually audio. Colombia, US, Japan, and Sweden make up the top end of that table, and down the bottom is Iceland and Greece. This is the distribution of domestic and foreign revenue from sales and licensing. And I put this up because the top runner, surprisingly, is Belgium. Belgium, 78.5% of its revenue is from foreign shares. It's a foreign share. Then Turkey, Greece and the UK, and down the bottom, Japan and Georgia. They're very internal markets. Finally, this distribution of titles published in the retail sector by publication type. So this is printed, digital and other formats. You'll see that the Republic of Korea has a staggering 80% digital share in the number of titles in its market, whereas down the bottom, Greece has 1.5. So what all these statistics show, I think, is that like modernity, digital is everywhere. It's just distributed differently across the globe. Some places are much more digital than others, okay? The big message that I want to get across to you today is, in that survey, no Arab country submitted any data to WIPO. And the main message from this that I want to get across to you is that we have to change that. We being the publishers and we being the libraries and other people in this room, we need to find those statistics and we need to find them very quickly. The IPA will work with any other person in this room, any other organisation in this room, to see if we can persuade governments and other institutions to gather book publishing statistics as quickly as possible. Without those statistics, publishers are like babies or adolescents, unable to talk to governments in the only language they understand, which is figures and dollar signs, or Egyptian pound signs. So, Arab publishing. The traditional hubs, as you know, are Egypt, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon and Jordan. Syria and Iraq are obviously coming out of some serious historical issues, and so the market is shifting. There are new hubs in the region. The UAE has stepped up over the last few years with many projects and many initiatives. So the good news is that the regional illiteracy rates in this region are around 15%, which is on par with the global average. And the youth illiteracy rates are 6% for the 15 to 24-year-olds, which is better than the global average. So 370 million people, 30% of the population is under 15, and another 20% is between 15 and 24. Internet penetration in this area is predicted to be 55% by 2018, which is 7% higher than the world average. And the number of books translated into Arabic per year is very, very low. So it's a mixed view. We're seeing some really good things and some really disappointing things that we have to work on. So rather than illiteracy, the regional literacy rates are very, very good, from 97% to the lowest in the region, which is 38%. Somalia, you'd expect that from that region. And that means that with Egypt, with a 74% average, is actually quite good. So in the Arab world, imports of books have gone from $269 million in 2000 to over $1 billion in 2014. That's an enormous increase. So the market is there for books. What we'd like to see is that those imports from other parts of the Arab region go up. At the moment, the EU has something like 29% market share. The top exporters into the Arab region are the UK, the US, and France, with 28, 11, and 10% market share, respectively. The Arab world's publishing industry trade volume is primarily driven by imports. The GCC countries account for 50% of those imports, and the total Arab world imports are $716 billion. As you can see, UAE, Saudi Arabia and Egypt are at the top. The industry growth over the last few years has been very good. You can see that in most of the traditional hubs, it's got a steady increase. There's a dip there, I think that's Saudi Arabia, after 2013. But then below, the evolution of publishing exports is a little bit worrying because it's flat and in fact going down at the end of that period. So we would like to say that the publishing economy has some very good indicators. You have a clear market for readers. The literacy and illiteracy rates point to people being able to, and with the increase in imports, obviously wanting to buy books as well. You've got 3 of the world's biggest book fairs with enormous numbers of visitors. And the Cairo Book Fair, which is just happening, I've been told, is also doing very well this year. So what are some of the problems? There seems to be a disconnect between the connectivity and digital services. As I said before, reports suggest that 55% internet penetration by 2018 in the region. But still, there's limited international Arabic e-book services. Apple Books does not support Arabic at all. Amazon does, but there's no regional Kindle stores in the Arab region. Kobo does, but only through the US store with little content available. And Google Play does, but is limited to the Middle East and Egypt. So, what are the challenges? Reaching readers however they want to read. Dr. Al-Faqi talked about the digital revolution. It's absolutely true that for the last 10 to 15 years, the publishing industry has been rocked by the growth of ebooks. However, we now see that in the biggest markets for ebooks, including the US, that growth has stalled. It's stopped at around 25% in the US. In the European market, it's never reached that level, and it doesn't look like it's going to get there in the near future. Audiobooks are booming. People are wanting to listen to people reading to them while they're doing something else, whether it's driving a car or cooking or whatever. So audiobooks is a market that might be of interest to the region. And print has stabilised. In most of the countries that are members of the IPA, print is coming back in the trade sector. It is absolutely true that in STM, scientific, technical and medical publishing, 99% of the titles of the journals are electronic. And in the educational sector, it's a hybrid. It's a mixture of print and audio, and digital. Publishers, education publishers are very well connected to teachers and to education systems, and they know when a teacher wants to have material in a printed format rather than a digital one. So, what do we see as the future? The basics for a thriving publishing industry in any country are solid copyright foundations encouraging investment. So what we always say is the local laws have to encourage a strong publishing ecosystem, and that includes authors and libraries. The government has to understand that the laws in each country have to protect the investment from publishers, as well as give authors a remuneration that allows them to carry on creating, and gives libraries enough money to survive and prosper. freedom to publish. Publishers from around the world are being pressured more and more by governments, by other institutions, by fanatics, and they're being attacked, they're being muzzled, they're being censored, and in some countries they're being killed. So the IPA stands firm with our publishing brothers and sisters around the world. We have an annual prize called the Prix Voltaire that celebrates the bravery of these people, but governments, again, have to come to the fore and make it clear that killing a publisher is not a good thing. In some countries, you'll be surprised to know the governments are not following up when these things happen. And finally, bringing accessible books to everyone. Stephen spoke briefly about that. We're working with IFLA and other stakeholders to try to promote the Marrakesh Treaty around the world, which will give accessible format books to blind people or people with visual impairment. We argue, again, for the same logic as I've just talked about in copyright, that commercial availability and fair remuneration to authors and publishers are optimal ways of encouraging a long-term industry in this area. The conclusions: we need more economic data on publishing in the Arab world especially. You had 0 responses last time. Let's try to increase that. And as I said, we're very happy to work with you if needs be in any way possible. The shift to digital shouldn't be seen as a challenge, it should be seen as an opportunity. The Arab region has huge distribution and accessibility challenges, and digital offers solutions for that. We still have to tackle physical and digital piracy. The Arab Publishers Association is in discussions with us about how to tackle that in some of the countries in the Arab region. Bring Arabic script and works to the major platforms. We have to start pressuring Apple, start pressuring Kobo and Amazon and the rest to have more Arabic material on their lists. And education publishing is a great opportunity. I've just been to the UAE last year talking to the Minister for Education, and we persuaded him, I hope, to start working very closely with the education publishers within the UAE as a way of starting a kind of wave through the Arab region to try to get more and more Arabic content through to the region. So thank you very much. It's not thank you, it's shukran. And thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Jose. شكرا جزيلا لكم. بهذه الخطبة تنتهي أعمال الجلسة الافتتاحية. أشكر معالي الأستاذ الدكتور مصطفى الفقي. Thank you Dr. Stephen. Thank you Dr. Jose. شكرا جزيلا الأستاذ الدكتور خالد الحلبي. ويتم الآن افتتاح المعرض المصاحب للمؤتمر. شكرا جزيلا لكم.